Good evening and welcome to the Psych Golf Shop. I'm Aeson Knight, and tonight we're talking AI with Shaman. How are you, dear?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here and excited to talk about AI as well.
I am too, because this has been fast paced. I think it's been a little over a year and a half since it's been publicly used. But it's making waves across everything. How did you get into developing AI?
It's a very good question, and I love telling this story to everyone because my background was actually in electrical engineering. So I was studying electrical engineering, and then I came across a subject that I took, which was a little bit of from the computer science, and then that's why I started learning about algorithms, and I got super interested. So when I finished my bachelor's, got into master's, that's when I got introduced to AI. So I started taking courses on natural language processing, deep learning, game theory. And it was very cool because I'm pretty good at math. So AI and computer science works very closely with math. So it was like a direct connection that I found. And then the real world applications were even better. You could see it working live and doing things, and you could feel so satisfied, and it's almost like magical when you build something and it works and you're like, I didn't even know that could be done. So yeah, that's how I got introduced to AI, and I completely liked it from day one. It was a tough ask, but it was a time well spent, and here we are. And I'm glad I got into it though. So
right, because you're still at the early stages of AI development from your perspective. Where do you think AI is going? Are we going to have fully atomical robotic ideas? Have we stumbled into that, or are we still a little slow on that?
Again, it's like, it has two parts to it. I'll start with the very generous part, and then I'll get to the part that you're talking about. But again, both are going to happen. Where we are today is AI is evolving, right? It's evolving at speed of light. It's not evolving slow, very fast. So if you look at ChatGPT, they came out a year ago, but within the year, just like 4 quarters, they came out with models every quarter, every 2 months, and they improved things and they degraded the older versions and things like that. So that's how fast it's going. And then that's just one example. You have Google, who came out with their things. You have Hugging Face models going up overnight. There was a time where I think I was traveling to Singapore, and by the time I landed, there were 200 more open source models added to Hugging Face. That's how fast it is. Within 17 hours, you have 200 more models coming out, open source. So different people worked on different things. Yes. And everything was AI. So that's how fast it's growing, especially the open source community, right? So the AI we have today, I would say pre-ChatGPT a year ago was, I would call it that was a narrow AI dominance, right? Again, a lot of people won't like it, but it's basically, I would call it as a narrow / a weak AI, because all we could do was language transition, image recognition, object detection, things like that. And you build on top of it, and you maybe add a chatbot and do some sort of natural language processing and things like that.
Right. And then you let the public play with it, and it becomes evil, and you have to delete
it. Absolutely. So that's where we were. Tesla is a good example of someone who did something out of the box, where self-driving autonomous vehicles were there. So again, one example, but not a lot of examples out there. So that's where we were pre-ChatGPT. Again, on the development level, we were using machine learning and deep learning. Again, nothing more than most of the stuff was around it. Pre-ChatGPT, a lot of modern AI heavily depends on data sets, right? So if your data is bad, your models will be bad. Everything is bad.
Right.
A lot of data dependency, correct? If we had limited natural language understanding, correct? We could understand, again, definitely, but it would struggle to understand context, nuance, and then complex language. things as well. So again, limited, right?
Right.
Automation and augmentation was another thing where AI was widely used. It's still used, but it's pre-ChatGPT. It was all pretty popular. Automation,
Right.
augmentation, correct? And you can do it in any sector. You can go healthcare, you can go finance,
Right.
manufacturing, whatever, correct? That
Right.
was who we were a year ago. Now what's happening and what's going to happen in the next coming 5-10 years is we will move more towards generative AI. Big deal, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Generative AI and general AI, two things, correct? There will a lot of work will be done towards general AI, capable of understanding and learning, intellectual tasks that a human can do. And
Right.
correct. And again, this is a subject of much debate and research. So I'm not going to say it's going to happen completely, but it's going to get there, correct?
It's going to get there. I think the boat is too. It's done left the port and
Correct.
it's sailing, and
That's right.
that's good. But at the same time, we have some issues. One, we've got this deep fake issue going on.
Correct.
Can you tell our audience what that is?
Yes, and again, I think it's something that has happened for a long time, ever since ChatGPT came out. Again, and I actually did a quote on this for a deepfake article that came out the last week, where there was basically impact of deepfakes that it was affecting elections and what was going on in Bangladesh. Right? If you go to Google and write deepfakes in Bangladesh, you'll find the article that I quoted on. It's basically all that it is. To get the elections on their side, they started using deepfakes, and then they started spreading info which was not true. Again, deepfakes can be done in image, can be done in audio, it can be done together, image and audio. So it doesn't really, you don't really have one way of doing it, the multiple ways of doing it, right? But it's basically you create info that does not exist, and it's so real that you will actually think it exists. That's what deepfake does in very simple words. In technical words, it's very complex. It's not doable that easily, but now because the way AI has evolved, it's going that fast. Anyone can do it. It's like there are softwares out there, there are links out there where you upload a photo and you put your voice and it can generate versions of it that you won't recognize it's you, but it's going to work.
Right. Exactly. And the common and how likely is that? I mean, granted, this in Bangladesh, how likely is that being a bigger thing?
Yes, and it's a bigger thing because when ChatGPT came out, it also happened in the US. People were getting calls from their relatives saying, we met with an accident, we need to take them to the hospital. Do you mind sending me their passport photo to steal information? So that happened here as well when ChatGPT came out. So it's an ongoing thing that's happening. And just like how I tell others, like when you develop something good, you also have to develop things with it where people cannot use it in the wrong way, right? So ChatGPT came out, again, perfectly fine. It was an evolving setup in the world of AI, completely different from what we all were doing, and the whole world changed directions towards it. But now there are companies building our tools to basically put in place so it cannot be misused, correct? And it's a favorable question that I get where I can use it in assignments in school. I can use it to give my interviews. I can copy paste and build my resume out of it. Yes, you can do it, but there are tools coming out which will literally catch that as plagiarism and it'll flag it. Again, it's coming. It's all in work in progress. So you can use it till that happens. After that happens, you will have to find another way to use it, which is the right way why it was built. It was built to assist you to get to the right answer yourself, but with the right amount of knowledge and with faster time. It was not built to just copy paste and go. That's not why it was built, right? So yes.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
Right. It's like I've been approached by a number of companies and I've sat in a number of meetings and they're like, we want to build a chat GTP of you. And I'm like, you can build it as my secretary. Right. You can build it as, something that looks like me and sounds like me, but you have to make it clear that it is not me.
Correct.
How, it's the way I'm wanting to say this. How real is that?
No, it's totally real. It is the next step in the process where it is built to assist us in, because humans do a lot of mundane tasks, right? A lot of it, and we don't keep count of it because in the daily life of living like this, you don't keep track of what you're doing, and it just happens automatically. So it's built to actually take it down from us. Like it's gonna do a lot of things that we do, and we don't really know that we're doing it, but we're doing it.
Right.
And then it'll free up a lot of our times to actually focus on bigger things. And it can be
No.
anything. It can be as big as you want to go to sleep and sleep 20 hours, sure. But there has to be something that will continue doing what you're doing, right? And continue
Right.
responding and taking care of things. So uh, it is very real. It'll get to a point where you might be able to build a version of you to do a part of what you do till you actually
Uh-huh.
come and do the rest of the main deal that you have to do. It'll get
Right.
there, correct?
So
And
it's not going to replace like our author. We've heard a lot of yapping about it replacing authors and
right,
artists, and it's just going to take everybody's stuff, and
right.
they aren't going to need human writers to write novels anymore because chat gp is going to do it for us. I'm
Mhm.
like, it can't work that way.
No. I mean, it'll get to a very smarter stage. It'll get to a very, very intelligent. It'll almost be a human who's very smart. But again, there's
Mm-hmm.
gonna still miss the human touch. There's only so
Right.
much you can teach a machine, right? And this is a very
Right.
good example. I tell everyone in the Tesla factories in California, robots build the car, but
Mm-hmm.
you will never see a robot test driving it. It's like, sure, then let them test drive and figure out if it works. Why not? That's a human doing it at the end of the day. They done all these tests of, was the car built correctly? Is it working correctly? Then they sit in it and
Mm-hmm.
test drive it around to. That's all done by human. Maybe they'll build another robot to test drive it, but will that give them the answers they want? We don't know. But at the end of the day, they built a robot that can build a car, sure, because it requires a lot of manpower and people get hurt, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
24/7 job, so they don't want to run people 24/7. So they built it out to assist them in building the car faster, and
Right.
and things like that. But again, cannot replace a human at the end, so not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Logo going on UI. So
Mhm.
how does this interact for like the single entrepreneur? Where do you think that single entrepreneur can use
Mhm.
the AI of today or the AI of tomorrow
Mhm.
to really do the unmanageable, as in scale up before they scale up? Because you don't have to write a paycheck to chat to an AI at
Correct.
this point.
Correct. And that's 100, you're right. And then if you look at it, a lot of startups were born right after ChatGPT came out. Why did that happen? Because it's not because the ChatGPT will build your entire startup out of the gate. It's not going to do that. But they figured out
Right.
that with using ChatGPT and or maybe a version of ChatGPT or even your own open source version of ChatGPT, you can actually do things faster. You don't have to write a check and you have to worry about, oh, I need to like take out my own savings and build a prototype to make sense out of it, and then maybe I can get funding and things like that, right? So single entrepreneurs, again, and I know a bunch of people who actually started companies just one man show because they figured out what they want to do and they use ChatGPT to
Mm-hmm.
build out a prototype, and that's good. So yeah, a lot of single entrepreneurs will be very happy that the AI has evolved to a state where they can actually prototype and prove out their ideas really quick. They can even
Mm-hmm.
show it to an audience to make a point and to raise money and to raise venture funds and things like that. But it's a
Right.
very helpful tool. Again, and you said it yourself. You
Right.
don't have to write a check, so it solves a lot of
Yeah.
things out of the gate. Yes.
So that's all very well.
Mhm.
But we have a few problems.
Yes.
One, we have government that do not understand basic internet speed,
Correct.
what Facebook is,
Mhm.
if TikTok can see where your eyes are,
Mhm.
writing laws about this. What's your advice to them?
Correct. Again, very valid point, and it's I kind of say this to people where even though I've been in the AI space for almost 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
even I'm learning new things, and my
Right.
learnings are a little bit faster because I come from this field, so I can recognize things, and if I read something, I'll be like, okay, I know why. So a lot of people who don't come from this field, it's going to be like zeros and ones, like what's going on, I don't even know. Correct. And that's what you just
Right.
said. They don't understand, but they're writing rules. So gap in understanding is the biggest problem today, and that's why even AI adoption is low. People want to use it, but how should I use it? Like, how can I use it? And should I
Mm-hmm.
trust it? Can I trust it? Can I show my face on it and it won't show up on the dark web tomorrow? Or can I like turn on location and people won't show up to my house? So even adoption is low because
Right.
there's a gap in understanding, which basically limits them from either using it or
Mm-hmm.
even getting close to understanding what's going on. Correct. So
Yeah.
my advice to people who write laws is, number one is they need to get a little bit of understanding of what it is before they even get into writing rules and regulations around it, because it doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
sure, like you shouldn't press the exit button in a plane because you know what it does, right? If you do,
Right.
it's the same way there are certain things you need to know about AI before you put rules around it. Correct.
Right.
consultation is a big deal. It becomes crucial for lawmakers to consult with AI experts, technologists, and industry
Mhm.
stakeholders. Like, get info from people who know what's going on. Correct.
Right.
And I'm not saying they might give you everything right, but like they might give you things that you don't know, and then you can go back and research on it and figure out, okay, I was told this, let me see if it's legit and how does it work and things like that. Correct.
Mhm.
Then there should be some sort of an educational initiative for lawmakers. Like, there should be, I'm assuming there's a growing need of educational programs targeted at lawmakers and policymakers to enhance their
Right.
AI knowledge. It should be there, and it should be there. It's not in a bad way that, okay, you know what, you're 50 years old, you don't know what AI is. Not like that. Like, things are
Right.
changing every day, and everyone needs to learn and get up to pace and go forward and use it and become
Right.
better at what it is. So it's nothing wrong, but there should be, I
Mhm.
think what we are missing today is ways for people to learn about it. That's not there. People who know it, and people who know it also know where to find information about it. But people
Right.
who don't have an idea and want to get into it, there's no starting step for them. Like, where should I start from?
Right.
Correct. So that's
Right.
that's why some sort of a educational initiative should be good. Uh, I would say uh, public impact, like when you make ineffective or misinformed legislations, can have a big impact on the public consequences, right? So, like,
Exactly.
even though the technology might be super beneficial, but it will hinder like the adoption, or it'll hinder access to it, because
Right.
you have written something or said something that people are like taking it the wrong way, and then they're like, okay, what, stay away from it. Correct.
Right. Well, and then you have and it made all the news.
Mhm.
The two New York lawyers that used ChatGPT to
Mhm.
write their legal briefs, and
Okay.
ChatGPT said, "All right, there's no case law for any of this crap you're asking me, so I'll go and create it for you."
That's right. That's right. No, you're right. And then what I tell people is, if you use the ChatGPT platform, right, at the end of the page in the middle, it says ChatGPT can make mistakes. Consider checking important information. Literally 5-7 words are sitting in the bottom of the page. People tend to
Right.
ignore it because it's at the footer and it's like small text. Like, why would I read that?
Right.
That is what it means, because it's basically telling you, it's like Google search. When you search on Google, you get to the answer, yes, but do you completely believe everything you see? No. You'll be like, okay, you know what, I've read 5 things, I know what it should be, but I don't know if
Mhm.
everything is right, and things like that. It's the same way like ChatGPT. It'll give you the right thing super fast, it'll structure
Mhm.
it in a way that makes sense to you, but should
Mhm.
you completely believe it? No. And that's what they did. They completely took it as the word of God and went ahead with
Right.
everything wrong. So
They
it's
didn't even research a little extra on their own.
exactly. And to my previous point, actually, this is what is going to
Mhm.
go down when, in a little bit more time, where companies will come out with tools where you can get to that point of completely using it out of the gate, but then there will be things that will flag it. This is not right. That is not right. That might be wrong. You want to go double check on these things? So that is
Right.
missing today. That's why people don't know how to differentiate between good info and bad info, and also they don't
Right.
know where to start. Again, where to start? Like, if even if I go to ChatGPT and get the answer to my problem, now it says go figure out if it's right or not. Where do I start? Like, how do I
Right.
do it? Correct. So again,
Exactly. And so that would kind of be like an intermeshing of ChatGPT and a search engine,
something like that.
is
Yep.
what we're looking at. So, what about our everyday person? Where are they already interacting with AI?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the everyday people, like, every AI is around you in every shape, every way, shape, or form. Right? It's there. It's in your phone. It's on your apps. It's maybe if you're using Amazon, completely powered by AI. You just don't see it because it's not so obvious. But AI is
Mhm.
everywhere, right? So you will see, uh, if you look at a regular human in today's world, especially
Mhm.
in a place like America, because we are very advanced in a lot of ways, right? Internet, phones, laptop, everything is
Right.
super advanced here. So everything has AI, correct? And you're already using it, but you don't know about it. And same example for Facebook. When Facebook went into this whole thing with the lawmakers, where Zuckerberg was called in and asked a bunch of questions, that's when people started noticing, oh, my data is going now. I don't even know who they're sharing photos with. Oh, I didn't realize I was putting photos for them to use, and blah blah blah. That's where they figured out that, oh, Facebook is storing info. Till then, people didn't care, because it's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Who cares?
But do they really care, or do they only care because the lawmakers care about it?
The second one, because someone flagged it. Now suddenly people are like, oh, that's right. They're saying
Yeah.
something. Let me listen to it. It's not like they care, because why would you
Right.
care about something as simple as a photo with your dog? What's going to happen about it? And if you care that much, you
Exactly.
shouldn't have put it up. So I don't know
Right.
why.
the Gen X theory that you don't put anything on the internet because if you don't want it out there for 100 years,
Right.
leave it alone.
Mhm.
How do you think that overall,
Mhm.
in 5 years,
Mhm.
where is AI?
In 5 years, it's going to become super easy for everyone to use.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Super easy. And it's already starting. If you look at Apple is coming out with their Pro glasses, right? The big ones, like
Mm-hmm.
going to go on pre-sale pretty soon. That thing is AI complete 101 AI. Like that's literally a 3D version of everything on your laptop, phone, iPad. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can pick out screens, start typing in the air, and it'll start putting it there. So it's evolving at speed of light again. So in 5-10 years, everyone will be in AI, knowingly, unknowingly. I'm hoping knowingly, because a lot of knowledge sharing will happen now, because people
Right.
want AI adoption. So they will start bringing in things that can teach people what it is and how to use it and what are the caveats, what you should be aware of, and things like that. So
Right.
a lot of educational stuff will come through. AI adoption will go up definitely. A lot of mundane tasks will be replaced. No, people will first have issues with it to say, okay, if I don't do this, what am I supposed to do? But then they'll eventually figure out that okay, there are bigger, better things to focus on. So I can let
Right.
this go, and AI can take care of it, correct?
Right.
And then it will also help in different fields. And I have a very strong feeling the medical field will have a lot of benefits from AI, because right now it's almost becoming as intelligent as a human. Again,
Mm-hmm.
not close to anything a doctor would be, but let's say an assistant doctor, one level down from a pharmacist doctor, or one level down to say,
Right.
okay, explain this medicine to me. What does it do? What are the contents? So people don't remember all this. When you buy a
No.
medicine, do you think you remember what's in it? No one remembers it. Correct.
No.
So it's going to help the medical field a lot, and in different
Do
ways.
you think, when it comes to the medical field, that it will be able to catch things that the normal doctor is going to
Mhm.
overlook, not pay attention to?
Correct. 100%. It'll be a club of different AI technologies, especially in the medical field,
Right.
where I see it getting to a point where even doctors will start wearing these big glasses, which will look at the patient and show you things which you haven't seen or noticed, or you don't know
Right.
what's going on, because you're focused in one problem, but you might end up seeing another one that's there, and you're like, oh, you know what, this also is there. I didn't see it.
Right.
Right? That's definitely going to happen in the medical field. And then I also read this post where I think they have started doing cancer operations completely through robots. Again, a very big advancement. Again, it's
Right.
nothing to do with the current AI that's evolving. It was something work in progress before, but
Right.
they are operating on people with robots taking care of the. I mean, doctors are there, but they are assisted by robots. So like they are cutting the
Right.
people and taking things and doing things. So it's already gotten
They've
to
been
that.
doing that for a very long time with like
Exactly.
brain surgery
Right.
and microsurgery and all that. Very
Exactly.
often, those surgeons don't even touch their patients other than to say, okay, send me the next one.
Exactly. You're right. So if that's already there, now imagine with the new AI that's coming in with the generative AI power,
Hmm.
that will make it 10 times better. Now, instead of just
Right.
doing the surgery with a robot, you can do 10 other things with it. And you can
Right.
maybe like assign it a small task and you do the bigger thing, and that can help you do the bigger thing. So
Right.
a big evolve. And it's coming. It's just work in progress, and people will eventually people will be able to see it. They'll be totally
Hmm.
cool with it with time. It'll take time for things
It'll
to,
take time.
yes.
But, and one of our viewers points out, hopefully it won't have the same prejudgments that human doctors held, because there is the diagnosed fat category that
Mhm.
leads to so many misdiagnoses. Do you think AI will be like, doc, those symptoms are actually the sign of this and this,
Mhm.
suggested test or this, but they're not going to be making diagnoses, do you believe?
That's right. And it shouldn't also. I think it'll evolve, but it should not evolve at that speed where it starts making diagnosis without backing it up. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it cannot
Hmm.
become a doctor. Becoming a doctor is you first study about it, and then experience gets you to a point which cannot be
Hmm.
replaced. You can teach a
Right.
machine how much ever you want. It cannot replace someone who's been doing it for 30 years, 20 years. It's not possible, right?
Right.
So it also shouldn't get to a point where it starts diagnosing it. But again, can it get to a point where it can help get to the diagnosis, to the real doctor?
Mhm.
Can it actually highlight things where
Right.
you've seen it, but can it confirm those things and say, oh yeah, I can see it too, like a double check, triple
Right.
check, things like that. So yes, it'll get there. I don't know if it can replace
Mhm.
that person. No.
So, are you familiar with the show Star Trek Voyager,
What
and
about?
how their ship doctor was actually an emergency AI?
Uh-huh. Correct.
How far are we from that holograph porting in and going, "Hi, let's check your vitals today"?
We might be able to get there for a super small thing to start with. We'll
Hmm.
get there maybe. I would say it can happen in the next 5 years, because the way robots are building cars, it wouldn't take them too long to even put a robot to do some sort of a medical check on you. But
Right.
very low level, I would say, super low level. Like maybe take your BP, take your blood pressure.
Right.
That yeah will do. Or maybe put some sort of a, like, that finger test where you just poke and take the blood and do some sugar test.
Hmm.
Maybe that, those things, smaller things, it will get to a point where maybe they can do it with AI. Hologram, maybe, I don't know that it can get there that fast, but it can definitely get to a point where a machine can be trained to do that and then completely
Right.
take care of it. That can be done totally.
Do you think it will fix our problem with bedside right now in medical,
It will.
in nursing?
I wouldn't say it'll fix it. It's gonna basically, it should improve it for sure. Can it
Hmm.
fix it completely? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, because of, let's say you got 20 patients and half of them need flipped and turned every 2 hours. I don't see a reason a robot can't do that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know,
It
and
should be.
let the nurses do the nursing of producing medication and
Correct.
evaluating patients and that type of thing,
Yep,
or
yep.
getting cups of water and taking them to bed.
Yeah, and taking out the beds and changing the bed and things like that, and maybe
Right,
getting the medicines from the floor to, why not? These things can be totally automated, and these are robotics plus AI. It'll get there. That will happen. And the only problem
right.
is medical field, like how people look at the positives, people look at the negatives, and then they say, okay, one day, what happens when one day AI goes berserk and starts attacking everyone in that setup? So that's something that we have to
That's where the kill button comes in.
exactly. You just put it in your pocket and walk around, just kill it right there.
Exactly. Like, be done. It's like if my computer starts acting stupid, I've got a power switch over here at the power switch. I flip it. This is done, and we start over.
That's a good example. No, yes,
Um, it,
that's right.
so
Mhm.
what does your company do now? Because we're just in this verging
Mhm.
technology.
Correct. Correct. You're right. And then it's an ever-changing thing. So if you come back a year from now, I'm going to give a very different pitch. But
Hmm.
right now, we basically have a low-code platform which people subscribe to build out applications. Now, it can be anything, anything. That's why I don't really say one specific
Hmm.
use case or two. You can build anything. You can build anything in the e-commerce world. You can bring anything in the AI, ML, blockchain, IoT world. You can build anything you want. The cool part about a platform is it can run on-prem, so it can run on a small chip. It can also run in cloud. So people are very there's a lot of happy
Hmm.
customers, because we have people who put it in cloud and call it a day. We also have people and say we don't want to put it in cloud. Data is very we need secure data and things like that. So I want to put
Right.
it on a chip. So it works both ways. That's why it's
Hmm.
super powerful right now, because with generative AI and language models, we can actually run language models on-prem, which is not a case out there right now, because if you want to use ChatGPT, if you want to use Bison, these are all cloud solutions, right? You have to call
Right.
them, you have to call an API, and then they'll give you the
Right.
answer. But at the same time, they own the data. Whatever you send to them is theirs. Right? You cannot contest
Right.
it. You cannot go and say, why did you use it, and things like that. Uh,
Right.
so that's why a lot of our clients are, it's a very famous solution with a lot of our clients, because you can
Hmm.
plug the whole thing on an on-prem solution. You can run it on a computer which is sitting in your house and call it a day.
Hmm.
No data is going out. No privacy
Right.
concerns.
I'm
No.
gonna drop some names. You're too modest not to. Circle K, Ultra, ladies, your makeup is being handled by AI.
That's
Pampered Chef, yes, this is the reason why I get so much.
right.
Jockey,
That's right.
Driven Brands, Take Five
Mhm.
are some of your customers.
Correct.
Your partners is like Google Cloud Partner,
Mhm.
ASW partners, which I'm not sure who that is, and of course, NVIDIA, which we love NVIDIA.
Correct.
Um, but the other thing that I think ChatGPT could be doing is
Mhm.
language.
Mhm.
like universal translation, because this is something I run into all the time in my business.
Correct.
Is I'll get customers that speak wonderful English,
Hmm.
but that's their third or fifth language.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, us Americans aren't that bright.
Okay.
Um, to have an actual immediate translation going on there for them in their natural language
Correct.
that is audible.
Hmm.
How far are we from that, or are we there?
No, no, it's almost there. Like if you look at ChatGPT, it can support multiple languages. So
Mm-hmm.
they've already cracked it down to a model that can actually, like, base language is whatever you want, but it can
Right.
right away convert to multiple languages. So you don't have to worry about opening Google Translator, put it in English, then put that in between things. Say I want French version of this. So it's already there. Uh, it's just not there for everyone to use, and it's just not usable just as a normalcy. Like if you don't have it on your phone, which automatically
Right.
converts the minute it hurts German. It's like, okay, I know you don't know German, let me convert it for you right away. So
Right.
it's not there yet, but it's already work in progress, where maybe in a year or two you might find an Apple iPhone coming out saying we are already by default know what you speak, and anything else around you will start converting for you right away. So it's going
Right.
to maybe get there, I don't know, but it's already there. It has evolved right after ChatGPT came out, so it's definitely going to come for sure.
Cool. That is something I'm looking forward to. I also say that they'll have me in holographic phone calls within 10 years.
That's right.
Um, I'm not sure about this one model you have, though.
Mhm.
AI for banking.
Correct.
Please tell me that's customer service, not counting dollars.
Oh, absolutely not. No, no, no. So again, this is one of our partner channels in Singapore. We work with
Mm-hmm.
Fuji. So Fuji, I'm sure everyone knows Fujifilm is cameras and rolls and all that good stuff.
Right.
Uh, so they are a partner channel in Singapore, and then they have a lot of customers, especially banking folks, because Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
Asia Pacific is big in bank, right? So that they use a lot of AI, and it's for not what you were talking about. It's something. It starts as stupid as chatbots internally, where they have this
Mm-hmm.
big log of information, but no one knows what to find where when this time. So they are
Right.
using it to internally teach their people what information is where and how to get access to it. Or it can be
Oh,
as big as opening a bank account without having anyone in front of you. So you just send your information in, AI takes care of the whole thing, doing a background check, doing your statement
uh-huh.
analysis, doing your check on what you're spending, how you're spending, and your red, if there are any red flags in your financial statement. So they are doing things like that, where you just send your stuff and we'll completely run the whole thing on our side to know if you are even good to go to open a bank account or to have a loan or to do a
Mm-hmm.
credit analysis. So it's various use cases again, but everything is AI powered because they're trying to
Right.
automate most of the stuff. Yes.
Yeah. I think my favorite is the dynamic documentation, where AI is literally sitting there and doing all the documentation for you.
Correct.
Like, I am sure there is a number of executive assistants
Correct.
that'll be like, please give me the chip. I will set it on this desk. I can go do 15 other things while
Correct.
these windbags run their mouth.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You're right, and it's a such a vast field of AI that you cannot
Hmm.
hold on to one thing and say, okay, I was waiting for this, but you might see 10 other things around it come out, and you're like, okay,
Right.
well, I was waiting for this. What about this? But then they will release 10 other things which will put this down because there's a better thing out there now. Now go play with it. So
Exactly.
it's
Right.
it's an evolving thing. Yes.
All right. Well, if someone wants to learn more about you or the company, where can they go to?
You can actually visit our website, iterate.ai. We have a lot of information there, completely based on use cases or industries. So you can actually filter it down to what you want and what you're looking
Mhm.
for. You can also, there's a form that comes on the website. If you have a use case you want to check out, you want to play with our platform, you can just fill out the form and we get the info and we'll reach out. Or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's very easy. You can type out my name and find me on LinkedIn and just give me a text and I'll be in touch. So it's pretty simple. If you're looking for us,
Right.
we are out there for sure.
Exactly. Well, darling, thanks for sitting down for a cup of coffee. Come on back when you get my driving car ready and my secretary to handle my schedule. And we'll be back to talk later.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again. It was a
Thank you,
wonderful.
guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to be taking a break and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Sandy Starr. I'm a psychic and I work on Keen, and I have been working on Keen for over 22 years. You can reach me on 01068. I deal with a myriad of subjects, but I do specialize in relationships, marriages, divorces. Is he cheating? Is she cheating? Whatever the dynamic of the relationship is, I will guide you through. I've got amazing radar for cheaters, so I will tell you the truth if he or she is cheating. I can help with any subject you need me to help you with besides relationships, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, you can reach me through Keen. My extension number is 01068. I really look forward to hearing from you and helping you with whatever you need me to help you with.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I'm a psychic medium and I work with tarot cards. I also practice Reiki and access bars. I would like to share with you what a reading with me is like. It is a blended reading of psychic and mediumship, and I deliver these messages exactly as they come through. I'm not going to mince words or add any padding. I am a professional, reliable, and honest communicator. I have readings available anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. You can book a reading with me at tracyvan.com. That's TracyVann.com. And no, I'll always tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here from Rowan Temple of Light, and I'm here to tell you about our events this summer. First up is Beltane in the Hills, May 13th, and that is from 1 to 6. We have entertainment, we have a bunch of vendors, we have a fairy photo shoot. It's going to be exciting. You having any questions, reach out to Earth Magic or to myself. After that, we have Central West Virginia Pagan Pride, August 19th. That's at Holly Gray Park from 11 to 5 for the day. And we will have Sarah Masters coming down from Pittsburgh to be our keynote speaker. We have some great classes for that. So if you want to get involved, reach out to Rowan Temple of Light at Gmail, or just follow us along on Facebook at Rowan Temple of Light, and we look forward to seeing you out in the community. See you there.
All right, welcome back. Hello,
Yeah.
Joe.
Hello.
How's the Joe?
Doing great. Was really enjoying the guest. Definitely love talking about AI, much like Mika does.
Mm-hmm.
I like.
It's a hot topic
Here's my.
right now.
It is. It is. I gotta say though, my biggest concern, with AI. Well, actually, I have two. One is fundamentally learning to use AI isn't much different than learning how to use like a search engine and use it efficiently and get really good at understanding how those work and how to target your search and throw the right words at it. I'm just worried a lot of people are going to struggle through AI and getting comfortable with it for the same reason that they don't search well and can't find the things they're looking for. So that's part one. Part two is I always worry about like the future of companies using AI and like how like the layer of abstraction that creates between companies and their consumers And because when he was talking about, having a package that could, handle customer service up to a point, I was like, ooh. Ooh. Like, I tried to envision using that because there's a lot of things that I do repetitively. I've had some conversations so many times it's ridiculous. But sometimes along the way, that millionth time, that 1,000,001th time you've had that conversation, something else sparks. Like, it's not really the conversation, it's like the understanding about the person you get from it. And I don't think AI is going to ever pick that up. I just don't think you're going to get it.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to add my comments because I was loving it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that AI has its place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now we have Microsoft Edge, formerly known as Internet Explorer, and Bing, their lovely search engine, has started integrating AI into searches.
Right.
And going a little deeper, and instead of taking literally what you said, it kind of does some abstraction on it and tries to reply to you based on what you said. Right. Take what you said, interpret it intelligently, and then go find the answer. Just here you go.
Right.
It's kind of interesting to see what's happening there. And I think if anyone wants to know how ready you are for AI, go see how your searches run with that.
Yeah.
Like, that'll tell you how good, one, it can really help for people that just I don't know how to search.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to take a search that isn't working, that isn't giving me what I want, and make it better. You're gonna start to kind of see where that changes.
Right. And I think that'll be interesting watching because, your searches are filtered currently by your previous searches. We've proven this over and over and over.
I just feel bad. There's got to be one poor bastard out there that is just so bad at searching. They can't find anything online.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's lost. Like, the algorithm is like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Are you human?
Right.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
But yeah, no, it is very true that algorithmically it does start to matter what you've searched for before, because it assumes you're still in the mindset.
Right. Which is really dangerous for me because, I might be searching, the evolution of the fifth dimension idealism and how it came out of Love is One. And that is actually a cult that it goes down this really dark rabbit hole. But once you get down the rabbit hole, it's like, oh my God, I don't think I want to be touching this with a 10-foot pole.
Well, we all had searches that went places that are like, oh, back.
Right.
Like, I've made a wrong turn on the internet and I can't get out.
Right. But, it's really, so once you do that and then you go and you search like psychic, well, they start bringing up more of this cult stuff. And I'm like, clear browser history today.
Like, bleach my browser history. Just bleach it.
Yes.
Like, nope. Gotta sanitize that. No, thank you. I screwed up. I see that now.
Yes, I've learned the invisible comfortability of having incognito mode for weird searching. Because,
that's
the psychic crap clips my brain.
All right, but that's if you know you're going off onto a weird tangent.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to, like, the meta knowledge of what you're doing requires that you pre-know that this is a weird direction of the internet. You don't want that in the algorithm. You want that over here, off to the side, as the thing you did, and then you close it down and it goes away forever.
Right. But yeah.
Because some searches will send you in places.
Oh yeah. And especially Aeson searches, because I'll search in multiple languages.
here's the thing. I bet right now there is no way in hell for you to search and find an 8-passenger van. Because you spent so much time looking for like stuff around 8 passengers.
Nope,
I'm
that's
curious.
the first thing that actually comes up is 8-passenger vehicles.
Okay. I was curious about that, if it had really started to mingle in and be like, no, we're going to continue this. Like, you're going to see their van. Or if it would still allow you at this point.
At this point, it's very blended, but at the same time, you got to remember, I just reset my browser. It's Tuesday. I reset on Mondays.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So Brenda's pointing out wording can be very important in knowing alternative meanings to words. Learned the hard way many times. I remember it, and here's the thing. The reason I bring all this up is because I remember in the early 2000s when Google wasn't quite as friendly as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Being assigned to search something for a professor,
mm-hmm.
to just literally open the Google
mm-hmm.
and find what you can on this because we've tried and can't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay. So I typed it in like an idiot would because, I was like 18.
Right.
So I typed it in like an idiot would because I don't know what the hell they're talking about yet. And then I realized the problem, fixed the search, and all of a sudden I have exactly what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me 5 minutes to figure this out.
Right.
And just the awestruck of how did you do that?
Right.
And it's like, I think we're getting ready for an AI version of that. It's like,
right.
How did you make the AI do the thing? And it's
right.
like, okay, well, you have to start at the broken part and then you figure out what got broke. What isn't it understanding? What doesn't it follow? What's obtuse to it? What's a little okay, that's not quite
mm-hmm.
what you mean. Let me change that just up. And boom, you get what you're looking for. Boom,
right.
It does the thing.
Right.
And I mean, Google's gotten a lot more friendly. It started to really understand the connectivity of searches and how words together mean different things.
Mm-hmm.
That's taken a long time.
Right.
And mostly it's popularity contest is what are most people searching for when they start typing these words.
Right.
So it's fun. I kind of think it's going to be interesting. Right. The nerd in me is just bring the AI. I want to see it stumble and fall.
Right.
Because it'll stumble and fall. It's been stumbling and falling. My
right.
God. The first time AI tried to tell a joke, it horrified people.
I wonder if that's improved.
Well, because that was, I believe, Microsoft showing off its AI, mm-hmm. and it made it decided to be sarcastic and say that I believe, don't quote me directly, but I believe it was to the effect of the goal of AI is to enslave the human race, and people were just like.
Well, ChatGPT has already fixed this.
Kill it.
Okay,
ChatGPT is getting there a little faster. And again, this is all a building process. As you take the fails,
mm-hmm.
the 1,000,001 fails, because there's going to be 1,000,001 more, and you just keep layering on top of it. What did it get wrong? Okay. Don't do that. That's too far.
Well, yeah, but ChatGPT, you have dad jokes. Point blank, you're telling dad jokes. Why don't scientists trust atoms?
I don't know why don't scientists trust atoms.
Because they make up everything.
Fair enough.
All righty then. It is time for our favorite spot. As I normally say, plead your case.
All right. Am I the asshole for telling my mother to move on and find purpose after she melted down after finding out my father was having another child? I, 25 male, currently the only child of my dad, 43, and mom, 42, as a result of teen pregnancy in high school. They grew up in a small town that very few people get out of, and my mom was the quintessential popular girl, and my dad the smart guy that should have gotten out. As you can imagine, becoming parents at 17 was not easy for them, but I truly believe they did the best they could. However, their relationship was always challenging. My mom was happy to stay in her hometown, but my dad had always hoped for more. We never really became a normal nuclear family. Dad never married my mom. They lived apart, and I never had siblings, all of which is an especially sore point for my mother. He's still an amazing father. I always felt he was there for me, even though some nights I know he was dog tired. He would still patiently teach me physics. He provided for my mom and I, doing back-breaking work to now owning his own construction company. Dude paid for my college in full. He told me that any college I could get into, he would sponsor my ambitions. A couple years ago, my dad met Anne, 33 female, who used to be my mentor during my college internship, now job. My mom has not been handling any of this well. She accused my father of trying to replace her with a new stepmom for me, despite that I was almost 20 at the time when Dad and Anne met. When Dad and Anne got engaged and married, Mom accused Anne of stealing her life. When they moved out of state to their dream home, Mom accused Anne of being a gold digger. Last month, I found out that Dad and Anne are 4 months pregnant with a girl. Mom found out last week and has been inconsolable. I'm really trying to be empathetic, but her reaction has been so out of proportion, accusing Anne of stealing my inheritance. I've listened to her for the last 4 years, playing armchair therapist for her issues with Dad. But yesterday, I finally hit my limit and told Mom that she really needed to move on from her personal issues with Dad and find a purpose outside of trying to build a life with him, because it obviously wasn't going to happen. Am I the asshole for being frustrated and saying that to her?
No.
I don't think you're the asshole. That's got to be a frying pan to the forehead. Not that your 25-year-old needed to be your armchair therapist.
But they so often do. Now, your mom don't need to call me because she ain't going to like my reading. Because I'm going to tell her the same damn thing. Dude hasn't.
He stayed for the kid, not you.
Right.
Period. End of discussion. He did, and it sounds like he did it well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Though they never got married, he did provide for them. He has done all the things.
Right.
Raised the child to adulthood. And then has fundamentally decided that, no, I'm done.
Yep.
I provided all my obligations. And it's harsh. I'm definitely there with Mika. It's harsh. It's a frying pan to the side of the head. But it's reality. Exactly. And I struggle with how she got so far into this. That for 25 years, she dreamt a marriage.
Right. That wasn't there.
Well, that literally did not exist. They didn't live together. He never gave any wrong impressions.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like they lived together, got married, and then all of a sudden, okay, kid's 18, I'm out the door. I ain't paying child support, so fuck you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got married specifically, stayed together, kept my mouth shut. Because there are guys that do this. There are people who do this. There are whole marriages that are nothing but this.
Right.
That got knocked up at 17, got shotgun married.
Mm-hmm.
That kid turns 18. My financial responsibility is over. Out the door.
But he even went farther than that. Dude's 25, got a full payment to college. You know, dude is set up. He's already working his first job. And dad found someone he liked.
I mean, just happens to be his college mentor. But still.
But that tells
happens.
you how much the dude was involved with his son's college.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God help my father to know any, name a professor without looking at my class schedule.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm really interested on the other side of this.
Yeah.
Because you know the professor that I like from your college.
Okay.
Okay. Can you imagine your dad trying to mac on her?
I think my brain exploded. Like you're talking about my former boss?
Yes.
I mean, I could imagine her running him over with her car. Because that's probably about how well that would go.
Well, I know, but how many issues could you have had with that situation?
Okay, it would have been particularly rough for me because, may I point out, my former boss, and by the way, I have glowing recommendation, if that tells you everything you need to know or not, was an ethics professor. The idea that she could even make it through a conversation with my father directly without being like, I'm gonna strangle him.
Right, because they were about the same age. Okay.
Possibly. But no worse than like what we're talking about here. Yeah. Like 43 and 33. Like I would say that's roughly in the same neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think that would have gone well. And with no insult to my former boss, not his type.
Well, true. But I'm just saying, this kid could be taking it in that direction. He's like, nah, cool. Dad's macking. Great.
Well, I mean, more so, it looks like, he has no problem with the two of them meeting. He has no problem with his dad. You know what I mean? Like, he has no ill will towards his dad. His dad's apparently been really good. And didn't see a problem with this relationship. Like, okay, it's a little, commingled, but yeah.
Right.
Like, shit happens. I think one, as a 25-year-old, you're being really mature, and I'm amazed.
Right.
Because that's your 20s are a weird period. Let's just put that out there. Coming off of childhood, moving into adulthood, it's a weird unpacking.
Right.
So yeah, you're obviously, despite your not normal nuclear family, I think you have a more normal nuclear family than you imagine.
Right.
At least with your dad. I think your mom, on the other hand, I don't want to say she has issues. She just has an issue, which is she just has dreamt up an entire marriage.
Right.
That never happened.
Right.
And a whole relationship.
Right. He'll be back. He's pointing out that relationship ended at 17.
Like that relationship ended at 17. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, the relationship ended at 17. Like that was it. It was over. Like is what it sounds like. Like they didn't get married. It doesn't really sound like they continued dating. At least they weren't sexual with each other. I'm assuming he's had other relationships, or more importantly, they've not had a relationship during that intervening 25 years.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
yeah. Now, as to Brenda's comment that you're giggling at, yes, because the only thing I like, if I had heard that in person, like from my boss, the only words I would have had there's a few words I would have had. The first one would have been run. The second one would have been, your ex-husband. Basically, the same thing but construction.
Right. That's what I was like.
And that would have told her everything she needed to know.
Right. But no, because, you're the only one that would have an opportunity for that experience.
Okay. Well, yeah, it does kind of. Fair enough. I'm just, I think the worst was he actually did try to flirt with one of my ex's mothers.
Mm-hmm.
That was an interesting phone call to get.
Right.
Is like, your dad will not leave my mom alone.
Right.
And all I can do is be like, I'm sorry, I'm 100-something miles away. Like,
mm-hmm.
I don't know what to tell you. Take the compliment and run away.
Exactly.
But for the love of God, don't say yes to anything. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, good luck with that.
My best advice to anyone is call 5 minutes early.
Do what?
Call 5 minutes early. Tell him you're calling him at 9:30. Call him at 9:25. He'll be happy as a lark.
No. That's the advice I gave to the women who made the mistake and were already in. For women who were just trying to get out of the harassment, like, I'm gonna tell you,
right?
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
Like, because I was technically still at the apologetic phase.
Right.
Before I finally hit my wall on that and was like, no, I'm not apologizing for him anymore. Good luck. Right. Like.
Right.
I didn't make him.
Right.
All right.
Alrighty. So with that, the poll is up. Feel free to vote. There are 4 options. If you do not know why, see see Brenda for all explanations of the options.
And Shannon.
Yeah, well, and Shannon. Yeah, both are moderator lead baristas, can help you out if you are having a decision making problem.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's this one for?
Yeah. Let's pop over and do some relationship advice.
Oh, so working with my partner, advice needed. I work with my boyfriend, kind of. We work at the same company, but have different roles that overlap. He is in outside sales, so he is responsible for bringing in business to the sales consultant, my role. I made the observation today that the other outside salesmen are great at checking in with us, sales consultants. Internal relationship building is important in our roles. It's something that my boyfriend has not been great at. He just works, and that's it. I've had colleagues mention that they feel like he doesn't care. He came into the office today and he doesn't acknowledge me. He doesn't go to everyone's desk and check in on them. He just sat at his computer. So I brought it up to his attention when we got home. I said, hey, I noticed that you didn't really acknowledge anyone or go to anyone's desk. All the other outside sales guys have been doing it. And his response was, well, I'm not them. He seemed very dismissive, disinterested in what I was trying to say. So in return, I impulsively said, okay, if you want to be sucky at your job, then I won't say anything more. He's a reflection of me, so I feel this pressure to give him advice and be a bug in his ear. Side note, I know I just made him sound like a jerk. He's not. He's great at his job. He just has a very stoic personality, and most of the sales consultants are women. So he doesn't really know how to kick it with the girls, open up with them.
I will say this very nicely. Get out of his job.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know it seems dismissive, and I get the impulsive response. I do. So yeah, he dismissively said, "Well, I'm not them."
Right.
And you took that as being dismissive. I think that was just the functional reality of, yeah, I'm not them. I don't work like them. I'm not. That's not how I work.
Exactly.
I think your opinion is that makes him sucky at his job.
Right.
I don't know that that's necessarily true, because one, you don't even know that's necessarily true, because you also say he's really good at his job, but
right.
So he's bringing in the outside sales. He's just not really good or not interested in doing all the touchy-feely, pokey-proddy of, managing like the internal relationship between outside sales and inside sales, or sales consultants. Like he sees his role as pretty much done once he hands you the lead.
Right.
I don't know that he's wrong. And I think there's a bigger understanding that has to occur here. Is it feels nice when people care and show that they care and they're interested, and you have to be careful with that when you're talking about someone in sales.
Right.
That's not a genuine motivation. They don't care about you. They care about their numbers. They care about why these sales aren't going through. And if they have to hand you chocolates and hear about your boyfriend drama, they'll hand you chocolates and hear about your boyfriend drama if that gets them more money.
Right. No, he's not a manager. He's just an outside salesperson.
Yeah, as in he's doing cold call lead generation.
But, here's my main problem. And, I don't tell Joe how to do IT. We learned very early on, he doesn't tell me how to read. I don't tell him how to IT. We'll coabulate, and we've got different working styles for both fields. I IT very differently. Joe just, and that's because I IT how I was taught to IT. Joe ITs how he was taught to college IT.
Well, actually, no. I will say it is kind of my own thing, but basically what I'm doing is taking and this sounds bad, and I'm not throwing off on you specifically, and it's not about you, but about, I try to do the opposite of things that clients have told me and bosses have told me over the years, piss them off. So when a client tells me, like I got earlier today, feedback on the fact that that their current support person that they're having to deal with is dismissive, is huffs and puffs on the phone, doesn't pay attention. Okay. And I've heard this before. This is not new to me. I know why she called.
Right.
I've always said 20% of my job is fixing the computer.
Right.
80% is managing the relationship that allows that to happen.
Right. But what I'm saying about you different in IT than I do, let's take, if we took on a news website. I have a project board. It has deadlines on it. It's got step-by-stage development going on. It's all over here on a board, snap out. If it is 2 days before the deadline of having these pages ready for review, I'm up all night getting it done. You, however, take a more natural flow of, okay, what's the importance here? Like, what gets them functioning?
What do we? Well, some of that also has to do with the fact that if I worked straight up for a company, I would definitively do what you do. Project board it out and plan it out like that. The reality is with the like the mix of clients that I have and the different or the differentiation of what they all need, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. It is a legitimate statement. I can plan, I can, and I do. What I currently think in the moment at the end of my day is the priority. Now, I may wake up to panicked messages in the middle of the night that will change priorities real quick. Because that client now has to take focus. So trying to necessarily project out that like it's going to be a hard, solid 1 month deadline. About a month, give or take. Like if all the natives are happy and satisfied and nothing goes wrong, I might get it to you tomorrow. Like, you know, it could go that quick. Could be 6 weeks. Depending upon how many things go wrong across the way. You know, I there's only so much budgeting I can do to keep everyone happy. The upside to that is I'm never going to look at a client and be like, I'm sorry, that's not on my task list today. So I can schedule you in 3 months from now when all these other tasks are done. It's like, well, I don't work like that.
We both work differently, but we complement each other. But I don't go into his office unless I have to. And I think it's been twice now. It's like, you got to get this project off my board within a month. If it lives on my board that's longer, you're not getting dinner.
You would not. But no, there have been a couple that it's like, tell me about it. Like, because no, I'm already there. It's like it should not have taken that long. Like we just came off of one of those, and I've got some cleanup work to do for it. That's no big deal. But no, we came off of one that it's like this shouldn't have taken more than a month. And it drug way out. But in the interim, the number of problems that other clients were having and the situations they were in, it's like, show me which one I tell to go to the back of the line. Like, and tell me which one goes to the back of the line, because I can't look at any of these people and be like, I'm sorry, that's not important right now.
Well, again,
because, no, it's real important.
We IT differently. And that's why your main job is IT. My main job is in your company is to be your assistant and also work the social media angle for our customers. I don't do framework anymore.
Like you bring expertise to framework. You bring expertise to the table. Of how do you do this? How do you do that? Post if he doesn't make you dinner, Joe, you know we'll all make you some or have some delivered. Aww. Could have used that the last couple of nights.
Yes, you could have, because we're going to address that here in a minute. While we're giving them some time to think and figure out what they're doing in the polls.
Yes.
Because, you know, but is there any other tips for her? Because you work more with me. And I'm a whole different animal.
Here's the thing, and the problem I've always had with and I've never, ever, ever liked the idea of people who are dating or married working together. Because the relationship always ends up being priority one. And it does not mix well in a corporate environment, in a business environment. Your priority at work needs to be you at work, not your spouse, not your relationship. Now, what I mean by that is, yes, if your wife's going into labor, get the hell out of my office.
Right.
Go, for the love of God, go. That's not what I mean. Your family is always a priority at work. I get that.
Right.
I mean, when you're sitting there trying to look at your spouse at work and like judge, like you're inadvertently going to start judging them by the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
Without necessarily understanding who those people are and why that works for them and may not work for your spouse.
Right.
Like your idea that you're going to sit there and like, one, you're creating the arguments you have at work are going to feed into your relationship. The relationship arguments are going to feed into work.
Right.
And so now you're caught in like a 24-hour cycle.
Right.
Of you can't just let it go.
Right.
I have problems with that. Second, trying to tell your spouse that they're not good at what they're doing and what they need to do differently.
Mm-hmm. No.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Or, I mean, it's something you can potentially do if you don't work with them.
Right.
You know, if you objectively see something that, like, you know, ask questions. There's also better things to say than, you know, like ask questions.
Right.
Not tell him what everyone else is doing and basically make it what's wrong with you, which is what she did.
Right.
Or what they did, because I'm not saying she here. So what they did.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to take a manager role and go, okay, so why are we doing it this way, not that way?
Right.
Because that'll get you more than, well, I'm not them.
Right.
Like, give someone a chance to explain.
Mm-hmm.
And be open to the explanation. Don't necessarily sit there and tell them what to do.
Right.
Because quite frankly, you may make this worse.
Right.
Like right now you're seeing this as he would be better at his job if he did what these other people do.
Right.
That's not always true.
Well, not is it not always true. The other side of this is the more cumbersome side of this.
Mm-hmm.
Is what if he does start doing that? And then you're going to get jealous because he's, you know, kikiing with the girl that you don't like at work. Like, there are so many rabbit holes into this one bite. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is not going to go well.
Right.
Which, I mean, I give him credit. He's doing him at work.
Right.
And thankfully, that's conducive to a relationship with someone you work with.
Right.
Because, yeah, it all sounds great in the beginning that he's going to, you know, that you think it'll improve him financially if he does this thing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to like watching as he flirts with Becky.
Right.
And asks her about her boyfriend and, you know, gets all up in her business. Like, I don't think you're going to like that as much as the money.
Right.
Like, you're going to really hate that and the money's not going to be worth it.
Right.
If he can do it.
Right.
Because I think that's another part of it. Is when we try to deliver our inauthentic selves at work.
Right.
Doesn't usually go well. Like, you wonder why you have a creepy coworker. I'll tell you why you have a creepy coworker.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're pretending to be someone they're not.
Exactly.
Because they were told that makes money. And it's like, no. If you don't have the people skills, but you have the technical skills, stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to get up in people's business because you're not going to do it right.
No. Not at all.
And it's gonna be creepy.
Right. But, you know, having clearly defined roles, stay the hell away from his desk, stay the hell out of his office, stay the hell out of his job. unless you've got a role in that job, and that's going to be in your sales meetings. That's going to be, but then you treat him like all the rest of the stooges you've got to work with. Yep.
Don't go beyond it. Don't go beyond it.
Right. All righty then. So let's kind of talk about some things. One, there was no psychic that plans, and I'm sorry. My digestive system decided to divorce itself from me.
Whereas we told a client who asked if you had been kidnapped, I was like, yes, yes, he has been.
Yes. So, we're at the stage of rebuilding that. This commonly occurs. We're thinking it's food poisoning, that now my stomach is acting like it needs to have its digestive system rebuilt. Commonly occurs with psychics. So it's going to be a little while before, we're eating. You're going to see a lot of interesting food pictures. We'll see. We're taking it as it goes because, we're also still dealing with some sugar spikes. Yeah, the universe is kind of being a pain in my ass. I'm not liking January right now. And I got to thinking, this happens every time I start a new network.
Pretty much.
Like, have you noticed that? It's like we started Fortunica, literally the day we launched, both of us went out. Was like down for the count. We did launch. I did join another network. This one looks very promising.
And it is new.
Like
he's not just new to it. It is new.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and share out that link. They got specials going on. I have that fun stuff.
Oh, Brenda's at January sucks so far. I maybe it's just me, but I'm so far kind of loving January. Like a bunch of stuff that had been piled up, just like boom, 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 boom. Like I've been thrilled.
Right.
Like I love checking boxes on a task list. Like
right.
Oh, it is lovely. So yeah, I'm loving January. I can totally understand, but we kind of had talked about the fact this was going to happen in January because we just came out of the whole Mercury in retrograde thing.
Right. We also had a cosmic portal.
Then there was the whole Pluto thing.
Right.
And then isn't there something else for Cancers and Capricorns and something else, some 15-year thing? Was that Pluto?
That's Pluto.
Yeah. I started seeing that pop up a lot on social media, that apparently for the last 15 years we've just been screwed. And I don't feel like anyone talked to us about that and explained what was really going on.
Well, you should have tuned into the Psychic Coffee Shop 15 years ago, and we would have had a lovely discussion with it.
We couldn't manage to live in the same city and date each other. You want me to tune into a podcast? Okay.
Yep.
But anyway, you discussed it.
Yeah. And it's like things, take a thing together.
Okay. But yay,
right.
Teropolis?
Right.
We figured out how to pronounce it yet?
Right.
We have?
We have not.
Okay.
We have not gotten a pronunciation. We're going to go Tarot Philosophus. Actually, I'm going to use something.
Oh.
Let's go
get
ask.
Some Chat GPT advice.
Yeah.
Pronounce this.
Okay, it doesn't know it.
Nope. Well, because you could stress it in different places and create a totally different sounding word.
All right.
I think the idea was Teropolis, like a benefer of Taro and Polis. I'm trying to remember what Polis is as a suffix.
Well, it's a German company, so.
Oh, Polis is a city-state in ancient Greece, especially is considered in its ideal form for philosophical purposes.
Right.
Aww. It's a city, so it's Taro City.
Yep.
Why didn't we make it Taro City? Was that taken?
Yes.
Damn.
Well, not only that, but I think that again, this is a German company coming and starting the U.S. branch, so we'll see where that goes to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No. So, woohoo.
But he's there.
I'm there. Yeah. Pay attention to specials and deals if you're a network, if you're one of my network people that enjoy my networks. A new page coming to aesonknight.com is going to be called the network page, and it's going to show everywhere the real Aeson is.
With direct links and all the things.
All the things and all their little quirks and, referral links and all that. So, sometimes you can get some deals like the link I just shared. I believe the customer gets a deal. I think they get, free minutes or something with me if they use that link, that type of thing.
That is the upside to new networks. They do deals.
Yeah.
Like, they want to get you motivated. Aw, you're so needed, Aeson. Yes, he is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I've worked hard to get to the position in my career where, people come looking for me.
Brenda's with me. Long page.
No, I've already got the design into it. It won't be that hard.
And once we get the page created, can we screen cap it and turn it into a like NASCAR suit for you with just like all your?
That would be awesome. Yeah, we're at 14 networks. I think that would be awesome. That would be really cool to have that as a blazer.
Maybe even go back and do like all the past ones. Like,
oh, Lord. Like, honey, do you realize how many that would be?
That's what I'm saying. But also for that page, it may be helpful to be like networks I've previously worked on.
That's a possibility. I may do that. If I can even find their label.
Oh, Cape Joe, not suit. I love it. I love it.
I like blazer. Like, I've always loved a good blazer.
No, get a cape.
Do you know how hard it is to get in and out of a car with a cape on?
You make fair point.
Like, do you want to come and open the door for me and put my cape on me every time I get out of the car?
No.
Okay, then. Like, these are thoughts and conversations that go through my head about when we're planning wardrobe, is how much assistance I'm going to need for it.
I have enough to do without being Alfred. I do. I have enough to do.
I know. You make a wonderful Robin. I just need to find me an Alfred.
You need to find you a Robin. Like, I'm getting old to be in a sidecar.
Well, furthermore, you don't like my driving.
This is not untrue. I tease him. He does fine. He really does. He has a little more risk adversity than I do, or excuse me, more risk acceptance than I do. I'm a little more risk adverse.
Right. I drive a lot differently than you do, and that scares you a lot.
Only when you take over in cities. That scares the bejesus out of me.
Honey, driving in cities, if I don't drive in cities, you will get us rear-ended.
Well, possibly. Mika just said, what a way to put it.
Because I learned to drive city. I learned to drive city way before I learned to drive country. And I can move through 6 lanes of traffic, no problem. Cut across 5 lanes of traffic and take an exit, no big deal. I'm not overthinking this. Like, I know my exit's coming up in a mile. I'm going to begin moving towards my exit.
Mm-hmm.
He, on the other hand, is like nervous wreck driving through Morgantown, and I'm like,
personally, I'm making the transition back.
Right.
Because they're two different things to me. City driving and like more rural driving, like what we do in West Virginia, are two very different things. They're two different like parts of my brain.
Right.
And there's a moment where I have to try to shift gears on that. And no, that's an awkward moment.
Right.
And then when I get there, he screams like a little girl.
Right.
When I'm like, screw it, I got time. I'm taking this left turn across, and,
Right.
I scared the bejesus out of him in Morgantown. I don't think he's forgiven me.
Almost got us rear-ended.
I did not. And technically it was 25.
Yeah. The speed limit is 25, and they're moving at 45. Go.
Which I was fine with. I was doing okay with that. It was when I cut across traffic and almost got his T-boned, and it would have hit him. That's when he got all like, you're going to kill us.
That's when I got, like, who's the one drinking here?
I was sober.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mika
prefers
royal driving. I know. Mika prefers royal driving. I actually prefer dirt road driving. Like, that's where, like, we get into trouble. Yes, that's where we get into trouble.
But you prefer being in the driver's seat for it.
Yes.
Because I will say that was the first time I made you scream with my driving.
Right.
Because I was taking a gravel road, and I'm not sure all 4 wheels were on the ground. We were sliding around.
I'm sure not all 4 wheels were on the ground.
And that was in the Kia Soul. He just like, all the way down that hill.
Right. Of course, I scare you in either of the Kias when we go driving. And especially when I get into mode of driving, like, he's like, please don't kill the transmission. Please don't kill the transmission. Please don't kill the transmission.
I have the engine warning lights to prove it. Because there was a while there, every time he took the Sportage over to Beckley, he came back with the damn engine light on. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Switching it to manual so I can drive this fucker like it's supposed to be. This is back when it was giving us the low power behavior, and I'm like, I'm not fucking with this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was manual shifting for torque.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, but the engine light's on. That means you really made the engine mad. Like, stop making the engine mad.
And I'm like, it's dummy lights. Let me know when it smokes.
More than you do?
Yes.
Oh, God. All right, let's bring this home. What's the poll result?
The poll result is, no, you are not the asshole for telling your mother the truth.
Aw. I'm there.
Yes.
I think it was harsh, but I think it was better for her to just hear it.
Yep. All right, so
Absolutely.
there is some updates to PCSP Network. Our baristas now have early access to 2 new shirts. Do you want to share them, Joe?
Oh, crap. I was not ready. If you have them up and ready, take it away.
Give me a second. I can get them up and ready.
Okay. Well, I got the links. Let me pull them over. Get out of there. Ding ding. All right. So let me share. There
All
we
right.
go.
So the
We have
first one is the Ace of Coffee.
Which has a front and a back.
Right. Now, guys, these are designed to go on a black shirt. I know some people wanted it in white. Don't order it in white. The color is black.
Yeah, we didn't even set an option for white. Color is black.
Right.
Like all coffee should be. But yeah, we also have that as stickers and a mug. There we go.
Yeah.
So very cool, very cool, very cool.
And of course,
and the one everyone's been waiting for. Oh, come here. Ta-da!
Burn His Shit is up. Just Burn His Shit is up. You can get it as a mug. You can get it as a sticker. You can get it as a shirt. You can get it as a mouse pad.
Ooh, desk pad.
Desk pad.
Like, this is what we're talking about. Desk pad.
Yes. Of course, baristas have codes to get a discount on those. If you need your code, please message me. I'll happily send your code out because baristas do get discounts on their stuff. And it'll be up for public store probably within the week. We will see how, because this is part of my Techie warehouse. We'll see how that goes.
Absolutely.
Yes. My hope is to release 1 new merch item a month right now. The next I'm working on is Espresso, the Ace of Espresso. So that's going to take some design work. We will see where that goes to. There's some other ones, like I'm really thinking about Deal Pickle merchandise. Like, really, truly, I think that was an amazing insight. So we're going to be working on that one too.
Very nifty, very nifty. So yeah, you can check all that out. Yeah, you want me to drop the links?
Yes.
All right.
Now, these are not on our PCSP store on the website yet. They will be. But we're going to send you straight to our distributor.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm having to work around the screen sharing notification, so it's taking me a second. All right, so there's Burn His Shit going out. And then we're getting ready to send Ace of Coffee.
Yep. Which, I don't know. I may expand on this. Like the Ace of Coffee, the Ace of Espresso, the 3 of Coffee. There's a lot of, like, I don't know. I need to see if before I start doing it, if there's a coffee tarot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Joe needs to model the Dill Pickle shirt first.
I'll do it.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out if you guys prefer graphic front tees or graphic back tees.
That's a fair question.
Like baristas that are in the chat, graphic front or graphic back?
Absolutely. Alrighty. Front.
Okay.
We have 1 vote for front.
Yeah.
2 for front.
Cool. Bring up the back of the Ace of Coffee, because it actually has the meaning of the Ace of Coffee on it.
Yes.
Yep.
So, refusing to take on more problems than necessary, life can be challenging, but that doesn't mean you have to carry additional burdens on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
The Ace of Coffee.
Yes. It's a play on the idea of, no, we have coffee first. We put ourselves first before we put anyone else first.
But first,
Uh-huh. Yes.
So, yeah, we're at 3 for front. So, yeah.
Fronts carry. Okay, I'll start designing more graphics on the front and leaving the backs alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, these shirts are 100% cotton. They are not the cheap polyester. Was there any other things we had to choose with the shirts? Like, I remember we wanted to make sure it had up to 5X. Like, that was
we
a
have
big
up
thing.
to 5XL. There is
Right.
a size guide that tells you what that means.
Right.
So, yeah. This is actually... so yeah, apparently that is a 32-inch, a 5XL is a 32-inch wide t-shirt that is
Right.
35 inches in length.
Right.
So, honest
So
to
it's
God,
an actual, yeah, it's honest to God 5X. It's not an Asian 5X. It's a US 5X.
It is a big old 5X.
Yes.
Yeah, 100% cotton. So yeah, but from either one, you can link to the others. If you just want to go to the one link, just scroll down. You can see the you might be interested in for all the products. So yeah.
Yeah. But no, this is Project 2024 for me, is to get into my design mode. Of course, we have our first one out.
In case y'all missed it, we did that one in a few colors.
Right.
So yeah, we've got that one. I especially love doing this one in pink.
Right.
So,
I think that's cute.
Alrighty.
So with that, guys, if you do want to join our Patreon, you can do that easily by visiting PCSP Network. We are planned to be back on Thursday. Notice I said the word planned. I am not going to be on air if my sugar hits 500. Just sorry, that ain't happening. You do not need a drunk Aeson or a zombie Aeson. Either direction, we're not doing it. So with that, we do want to thank the people that make this show possible. We hope you guys enjoyed our guest tonight.
And of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yeah. And with that, guys, we wish you a great night. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.